Sometimes it seems there is space for all the world on Africa's biggest lake, and yet for the fishermen who depend on it, it has never been so crowded. In the past 20 years, Lake Victoria has seen a boom in fishing companies and fishermen, but stocks are depleting by the day. And it is perhaps the small-scale fishermen who are being hit the hardest. They say big companies have come in and almost fished this lake to death. Lake Victoria may be bigger than the size of Scotland, but some experts think that in just 20 years' time, there could be no fish here at all. Already hundreds of artisan fishermen have given up the trade, and others wonder whether their children will even be able to start it.
I just don't know how the fishing industry is going to go in the next 20 years. The fish population is going down, and I'm getting old, so I can't say. But there might not be any fish left in 20 years.
There is no easy solution, though. The big fishing companies support the best part of 30 million people around Lake Victoria and bring in millions of dollars for the surrounding countries' GDPs. But despite tougher regulations, one expert says that the size of catches goes underreported.
It's underestimated. We don't have the right data at the moment to tell whether we are fishing according to what we would call sustainable levels. So there's potential of unsustainability in the fishing industry, and this is worrisome for small-scale fishermen, for the communities around who depend on fish for their livelihoods.
Already, governments have banned destructive nets and created no fishing zones. But even among small-scale fishermen, illegal catches are rampant. The saying goes that you should not give a man a fish, but teach him how to catch one. But right now in Lake Victoria, the problem is how to make people catch far fewer. Dan Ashby, CCTV, in Lake Victoria.
And for more on this, we're joined by Otula Owuor. He's the editor, Science Africa. Mr. Otula, thank you. The industries around Lake Victoria, though, how bad is the problem of overfishing in Lake Victoria?
Well, the problem of overfishing, in a way, is exaggerated because there are various factors that are resulting in decline of fish population, mostly linked to pollution. Lake Victoria is becoming heavily polluted. Initially, or in the early days of independence of the three East African countries, pollution was mostly linked to agricultural fertilizers and pesticides that were used to control pests that were attacking cotton, coffee, tea. But this has changed with the increased population and urbanization along the lake shores. Most of the cities and towns along the Victoria just dump raw sewage in the lake. And most of the rivers getting into the lake also carry a lot of pollutants from industries, factories. In fact, the water hyacinth problem is linked to pollution of the lake with a lot of phosphates, nitrates, and all those kind of things.
Well, with that whole question, Mr. Otula, though, if I could just interrupt there, with that whole question of the pollutants being dumped into the lake and the threat that is being posed on the fish stocks there, what happens when the fish stocks are depleted?
Well, the fish stocks face other factors also. There is a little bit of decline from this pesticide, but also some of the species disappeared. For example, when Nile perch was introduced, it actually resulted in loss of some indigenous species. But fishing as such, unless we control pollution, will not go far in restocking the place. Also, exporting of fish will be a problem in future because there are countries that are very particular. We have a lot of, there's a time when, for example, European Union were not happy to get fish from the lake because there was outbreak of typhoid, cholera along the lake because of sanitation and dumping of raw sewage. So the issue of fish stock is linked to very many factors, not just the question of overfishing or controlling nets. It's also to improve the environment under which the fish lives. There's a decline of oxygen within the lake because of a lot of these water hyacinth that actually take up the oxygen. So there are a lot of factors that come in, not just overfishing.
Right. Despite all that, though, there are some concerns that there is a lack of creativity and that the lake is largely underutilized. For example, we could be seeing a thriving transport business presented as a tourist attraction. Why is this not happening?
Yes, one of the things that even to attract tourists, the environment has to be improved. Nobody wants to be along the lake shore where sewage is dumped. Algae is all around. That's for sure. There's a lot of potential for tourism and all those, but the environment has to be improved. So far, no organization can show the East Africans any tangible improvement they have done along the shore, be it in Tanzania, be it in Uganda. All we have is complaints and data about complaints about pollution and pollution. So it is an issue that really needs action more than conferences and all this data being collected, nothing being done. Still, there's a lot of soil erosion because some of the tributaries that go to the lake and rivers come from areas that they have suffered from a lot of deforestation. So you find a lot of soil with fertilizers, nitrates, and all those. So the lake has lots of problems, really.
All right, Otula Owuor there on the Lake Victoria, which borders 3 East African countries. With that update, thank you.